Hold on a second. Let me just fit this on the screen. Almost done. There you go. Whew. Now, I don't mean to be rude, but that's a long neck. Alright. Before modern artists put a banana on the wall and called it art, or before Monet went out of his studio and started painting the skies and the ponds, artists needed some grand subjects to paint. And since we're talking about European artists and sculptors, themes and stories from Christianity were the major sources of inspiration. And what's more beautiful than the loving bond of Mary and Jesus? There are hundreds of beautiful paintings showing the scene where Mary embraces baby Jesus in her arms. The expression, the emotion, the whoa, what's that? Why is everything about this painting so weird? You're looking at the painting called Madonna with the Long Neck. And no, I'm not making this up. The official name of the painting is exactly that. I wonder why. And if you don't like that name, there's another name for it. It's called Madonna and Long Child with Angels and Saint Jerome. That's it. Just Long Child. Not a long child or the long child, just long child. I don't think we need an explanation for that name. Now, you can say that the painting looks bizarre because of the long neck of Mary or the size of baby Jesus, but that's only half the answer. When you take a closer look, here are some things that you notice. The proportions of the neck, the amusingly large size of the child, how huddled these angels are, and this little guy over here holding a scroll. Before you say that the artist did not understand proportions, you need to understand that everything wrong here was done for the right reason. The painter, Girolamo Francesco Maria Mazzola, also called Parmigianino because he was from the city of Parma, did an insanely smart thing to make his painting stand out. You see, the problem was that every painter of that time and before had made a painting of Madonna and the child. It was one of the most famous subjects to paint. So there are literally hundreds of paintings showing the same scene. So how can one make it look different? How can one make their painting stand out? Well, you make everyone in the frame look lanky and out of proportion. There you go. And all eyes are on the painting. This brilliant marketing move was certainly not the only reason why Parmigianino made this painting in such a way. He was also an artist of the mannerism genre. Remember when Da Vinci came and made this to signify the divine proportion? Or when Michelangelo carved a timeless beauty out of a marble block? These guys were the proponents of proportions. And then Mannerists came right after them and they said, proportions? We don't do that here. And they made very different kinds of paintings. The proportions were off, symmetry became asymmetry, and natural posture became artificial poses. And Parmigianino went all out. I'm very sure that this is not a comfortable position to sit, and that is certainly not the right way to hold the baby. It's almost falling down. Well, this is quite interesting. Take a note of how the baby is sleeping, because this is an interesting point. I'll come to that later in the video. Let's just keep this side aside and shift our focus. What is going on here? Look at this angel. His leg is twice the length of his torso. And I'm getting severe back pain just by looking at his posture. With 5 angels all crammed up in that space, you might think that they want to look at the baby, right? Nope. Not a single angel is looking at the baby. This one here is looking at Mary, probably asking for Tylenol. This kid is looking on the side. So is this angel. Unfortunately, this angel might want to see what's going on there. But she's standing right behind this one. And she's completely lost in her thoughts. Well, by the way, this is my face when I realize I am 2 days past the deadline. Hey, I want to see the baby. Can you move aside? Excuse me? Can you just move a little bit? Well, guess I'll just count your braids then. Remember I said 5 angels? Well, look again. There's one more face that is barely visible, but it is there, and it is directly looking at this baby angel. I think this is why he's trying to avoid eye contact. I know I would too. So why did the artist add these angels in such a small space? Well, it adds to the effect of the painting. Not only do these people look uncanny with bizarre body proportions, but this cluster of angels are lost in their thoughts. What are they doing here? On the left, we have a tiny figure presumed to be Saint Jerome, reading something from a scroll that he certainly does not like. Once you are over the fact that he is peculiarly tiny, you will notice that he is missing a leg. You can see the stairs behind him through his body. What mysteries lie behind this spot? Is it supposed to be a ghost? An apparition? Nope. The artist just could not complete the painting. He died while painting it. So that's why the other leg is unfinished. Now that we know most of the things, it's time to address the large baby in the room. When all the other artists chose to depict baby Jesus in the form of a cute, chubby child, but with really bizarre facial features, I'll make a video on that later. Why did Parmigianino go with, well, this? It looks more like an old toddler than an infant. And also, a child is supposed to have some hair at this age. While we are at it, why is the baby held like this? It's almost falling down on the ground as it tries to grab his mother. I know that this is a mannerism painting, but that's not the only reason behind all this bizarre posture. The limp body of the baby is an allusion to what happens to Christ. It's almost like Pieta, but with the child. Take a look at some of these paintings and try to notice the similarities between the two. Things get really dark when you realize that the baby might not be sleeping. So it's not just the proportions of the neck or the size of the angels. The reason why you might find this painting bizarre and uncanny runs deeper. It hits you psychologically and you cannot really understand why. Maybe this is the reason why the angels are not looking at the baby. But hold on a second. Are we sure about Virgin Mary here? At first glance, you might think that she's smiling at the baby. But is she though? Let's take a closer look. It looks like a smile, but there is something more. It almost looks like she's about to cry. There's an air of sadness on her face, almost as if her realization has taken over. It's like she just realized what is happening to the baby. But interpreting emotion is a subjective thing. So I want to know your thoughts about it. Do you think she is smiling or on the brink of breaking down? Mention your answers in the comment section. Whoa, whew, things got really dark for a second there. Let's make the mood light with this baby, with the body of an adult. You have to admit that it looks goofy. The painting is called Amor Carving His Bow, and it was made by the same artist. So was this. Just look at the head of the horse. You'll find this disproportion in most of his subjects, usually where the body is way bigger than the head. Call it peculiar, call it bizarre, but you cannot deny that the artist made something that stands out from the rest. Unfortunately, the artist died when he was just 37 years old. It would have been interesting if we got to see his later works. Perhaps he would have taken the mannerism movement to a whole new level. After all, Madonna with a long neck is one of the most popular mannerist paintings in the world. And that was all about this painting and the interesting story behind it. Thank you for your time, and if you liked the video, consider subscribing to the channel. Till we meet next time, keep smiling and have a great day ahead.